All right, let's get right into it. So, Elon Musk's XAI just dropped something called Grok Code Fast 1. And believe me, this isn't just another AI model hitting the market. No, this is a really strategic move, and it's aimed at completely shaking up how software gets built. We're talking speed, scale, and cost. So today, we're going to break down exactly what this thing is, and more importantly, why you should care.
Yeah, this quote just nails it, right? The whole AI arms race, it's totally evolved. It's not about who has the wittiest chatbot anymore. Now, it's all about who can build these super specialized tools that are, quite literally, changing how entire industries work from the ground up. And guess what? Software development is ground zero for this whole transformation.
Okay, so here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to unpack what makes Grok such a speed demon. Then, we'll dig into the actual business case, like why would you even use this? After that, we'll see how it stacks up against the big guys, walk through a step-by-step playbook for actually using it, and we'll wrap up by looking at the bigger picture here, what we're calling the new multi-model strategy.
All right, section one. So what is this thing really? Grok is a huge step beyond just simple code completion, like the autocomplete you might be used to. We are now moving into what people are calling agentic workflows. Think of these as AI assistants that are way more autonomous. They can actually understand and carry out complex, multi-step jobs all on their own. So the secret sauce here, it's all in the architecture. Grok uses something called a mixture of experts model, or MO for short. Now, instead of one single massive AI brain trying to do everything, picture it more like a team of highly specialized consultants. When a job comes in, the system is smart enough to route it to the perfect expert for that specific task. And that makes it unbelievably efficient. And that efficiency, it translates directly into two massive benefits for any business. First off, you get way higher quality code because the right expert is always on the job. And second, it's just so much more efficient with its computer power, which means XAI can turn around and pass those savings right on to you with some seriously aggressive pricing. But that efficiency is only half the story. The other key feature is its context window. Just think of this as the model's short-term memory. And Grok's is huge. We're talking 256,000 tokens. To put that in perspective, that's enough memory to hold tens of thousands of lines of code, so it can literally see an entire code base at once. Now, the strategic advantage of that is just enormous. Having this project-wide awareness means it makes way fewer mistakes. The AI isn't just taking a wild guess at the next line of code. It actually has this holistic view of the whole project structure and all its dependencies. That means better code right out of the gate and a lot less time wasted on debugging. And then there's just the raw speed. 92 tokens per second. That makes Grok one of the absolute fastest coding models available. For a developer, that means you get feedback almost instantly. For a business, well, that speed directly impacts your project timelines. It's a straight line to getting your product to market faster. This might be its most important feature for any serious business. Grok doesn't just spit out code. It can actually show you its homework with what they call reasoning traces. This is huge because it tackles that classic AI black box problem head on. It's a total game changer for building trust and for things like governance and auditing, especially if you're in a regulated industry like finance or healthcare. Okay, so the tech is clearly impressive, but why should your business actually care? Let's talk about the real tangible business value that Grok Code Fast 1 is built to deliver. This is where the rubber really meets the road. The business case for Grok really boils down to three powerful pillars. It's all about getting your product out the door faster, making your best people even more productive, and completely changing the economics of how you use AI in the first place.
So let's start with speed. Grok is designed from the ground up to be an accelerator. It homes in on the stuff that eats up the most time in development. Things like quickly spinning up prototypes, generating all that boilerplate code for new features, and even automating unit tests. Every single one of those things shaves precious time off your project schedule.
And this brings up a really critical point. The goal here is not to replace your developers, it's to supercharge them. Grok handles all the routine, repetitive grunt work, which frees up your senior engineer's brainpower to focus on the stuff that actually drives your business forward, like big picture architecture and solving really tricky problems. And this is where the economics get really disruptive. Grok's super low price point lets you build a much smarter AI strategy. You can use this fast, cheap model for, say, 80% of your day-to-day coding tasks, and then save those really expensive premium models for the critical 20% of work that needs some seriously deep, complex thinking.
Okay, so how does Grok actually measure up against the heavyweights? The real key here isn't about finding one single best model. It's about understanding how to build a versatile toolkit where you have the right tool for the right job.
This is the million-dollar question every tech leader is asking right now, so let's do it. Let's put Grok Code Fast right next to its biggest rivals from OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google and see exactly where it fits into the landscape. Looking at this chart, the story becomes crystal clear. When it comes to speed and cost, Grok is the undisputed champion. I mean, look at those prices. It's not even close. But if you look at the other guys, you'll see OpenAI and Google are leading the pack on how much context they can handle, while Anthropic's models are just brilliant at complex reasoning. Each one has its own clear strength. So we can really boil this down to 4 distinct roles in the market. You've got Grok as your speed demon and your budget-friendly workhorse. Anthropic is like the master architect for your toughest problems. OpenAI's GPT is your classic, versatile Swiss Army knife. And Google's Gemini is like a digital librarian, perfect for when you need to analyze a massive amount of code.
All right, let's get practical. Knowing a tool exists is one thing, but actually using it effectively, that's a whole different ballgame. So let's walk through a simple playbook for how you can intelligently bring Grok into your own development workflow. You can't just flip a switch. A successful rollout needs a real strategy. First, define exactly what you'll use it for. Play to Grok's strengths. Second, create clear standards for how to write good prompts. Third, and this is non-negotiable, you have to mandate a human review process. And finally, build rigorous testing into any workflow that uses AI. I really want to double down on this one because it's the single most important rule. Never, ever, under any circumstances, should AI-generated code go straight into production without a qualified human developer reviewing it first. AI is an incredibly powerful copilot, but it's not perfect. That human oversight is your ultimate safety net for quality and security. Okay, let's wrap this up and bring it all together. Grok's launch isn't just about one new product. It's really a signal of a much bigger shift happening across the entire industry. This agentic shift where AI starts acting more like an autonomous partner, it's not coming anymore. It's here. And that brings us to the main takeaway of this whole thing. Winning with AI is no longer about just checking a box and saying you use it. The real competitive edge now comes from how smartly you manage a whole portfolio of AI tools, matching the right model to the right task to get the best possible speed, quality, and cost. So that really leaves us with one final and I think critical question you should be asking your own team. With the market moving so fast towards these specialized agent-like tools, you've got to take a hard look at your own strategy. Is your current AI toolkit really built to compete in this new era?